According to Cox Automotive, January is historically one of the slowest months of the year for vehicle sales. But its new forecast shows sales volume this month is projected to grow 5% from the year prior. So if you're one of those people thinking of buying a car, well, we've got you covered. We're going to review 5 things you need to know about buying a car, including knowing your credit score, getting pre-approval for a loan, knowing the interest rates for a new versus a used car, and check how a purchase will impact your insurance. And if you're selling or trading your car, having a paper copy of the title. So here to dig into the details, we've got Brian Moody, Senior Staff Editor at Auto Trader and Kelley Blue Book of Cox Automotive. Great to have you here with us. So let's start with your first one, knowing your credit score. Explain how that's extremely helpful for car buyers.
Well, it's just something you should know anyway as a consumer, anyone who consumes credit or makes large purchases. The deal is with new cars, especially when you see those special APRs advertised, low interest rate, that's not for everyone. That's for people with excellent credit. No problem if you don't have excellent credit, but you want to know that before you go into the process, not in the middle, because it will affect your payment if you're borrowing money to buy a car.
Okay, next up here, getting pre-approval for a loan. What's that process like?
That would be going to your bank or credit union and say, I want to apply for a loan. They'll have, for buying a car, they'll have requirements. Some banks will only give a loan to a franchise dealership, meaning like a Chevy, Honda, or a Ford. Others won't. By being pre-approved, you're not borrowing the money yet. You still will allow for the dealership to beat that rate, and oftentimes they can. But if they can't, then you have that in your back pocket.
So let's talk about knowing your interest rate and what those payments are going to look like over time.
Right. You should know approximately what interest rate you qualify for. That's tied to your credit score, and the bank can help you with that. Here's one of the things to keep in mind. Even if it's a lower price used car, like say a lightly used car, 1 to 2 years old, maybe 3 years old, used car loans are almost always higher interest than new car loans. So factor that into your buying decision.
Now, obviously my insurance is going to be different if I'm purchasing a Ferrari versus purchasing a Toyota Camry.
Yes.
You know, how will the purchase that you select ultimately impact your insurance?
It will probably go up if you're getting a newer, nicer car. If you're getting an older car, it may go down. Sometimes electric cars can cost more because of the parts needed if you're in a collision. But here's what you can do. Call your insurance company and tell them, here's the car I'm thinking of buying. How will that impact my insurance? You don't want to buy the car and then be surprised a month later and say, oh, I didn't know. Ask them ahead of time.
What is the pass-through when you sell or trade a car and the considerations that you could be taking into the transaction process?
Well, decide whether or not you want to sell it yourself or if you want to trade it in. Oftentimes, trading it in will be a quicker process, but selling it yourself may get you a little bit more money. Either way, you're going to want to have the title to the car available and on hand to make that process go quickly and smoothly. For some people, they think it's worth it. Their time, their energy, fixing the car up a little bit, cleaning it, they think it's worth it to sell it themselves. For others, they just want to get rid of it and move on to the next car.
Thinking of the market dynamics right now, is this a good time to be considering the purchase of either a new or a used vehicle or even an EV? What do the markets look like from your vantage point?
Yeah, a lot of the prices have been leveling off. We see some good prices on used cars, but remember, during the pandemic era, they stopped making new cars for a short time. That will result in, years down the road, and here we are, in fewer used cars. So those lease returns may not be as abundant as they once were. Looking for a lightly used car may be harder as we get into 2026.
Brian, thanks so much for the breakdown here and the tips for any of the car buyers and the prospective shoppers out there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.